Intro, Tokyo's hidden reality. Picture yourself strolling through Tokyo's dazzling streets, where neon signs blaze and the rhythm of modern life never slows. Skyscrapers rise above meticulously clean sidewalks. Crowds stream past in perfect order, and yet, just beyond the glow, quiet figures remain unseen. Under bridges, in parks, along riverbanks, makeshift shelters of cardboard and blue tarps tell a different story. These are Japan's homeless, often invisible in a nation famed for prosperity and harmony. This travel documentary asks you to look closer, to see not just the beauty, but the humanity behind the hidden corners of the city. By exploring their stories, we uncover a truth that challenges our assumptions and deepens our connection to Japan and to the world we share. Welcome to Travel Documentary, your window into the world's untold stories. Today, we explore homelessness in Japan, a subject that stands in striking contrast to the nation's global image of efficiency, innovation, and prosperity. Japan, with its population of 125 million, reported just 3,065 homeless individuals in a 2023 government survey, an official rate of only 0.003%, one of the lowest in the world. But does this figure capture the full reality? In this episode, we'll peel back the layers to reveal the causes, daily struggles, and potential solutions surrounding homelessness in Japan, an issue often hidden in plain sight. Our mission is to educate, inspire, and spark dialogue about challenges that shape lives in ways statistics alone cannot show. If you believe in uncovering the truths behind the places we visit, don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Travel Documentary. Your support fuels our journey to bring these human stories to light. Let's dive in together. In Japan, homelessness has a very specific legal definition. Under the 2002 Special Act on Supporting the Autonomy of the Homeless Population, it refers to individuals living in public spaces, parks, riverbanks, train stations, or sidewalks without a fixed address. Each year, government surveys focus only on these visible rough sleepers, excluding people in temporary accommodations such as internet cafes, capsule hotels, or manga kissa comic book cafes. This narrow scope is one reason Japan reports such low numbers. Official figures list about 3,000 homeless people nationwide, but advocacy groups suggest the true figure may be closer to 20,000 once the hidden homeless, net cafe refugees, or those couch surfing, are included. Japan's demographics also set it apart. Unlike many Western countries, where women and families make up a larger share, the homeless in Japan are overwhelmingly male. Women account for just 6%, and most are middle-aged or elderly. These trends reflect broader patterns of aging, job insecurity, and social isolation unique to Japan. To understand homelessness in Japan today, we need to look back at its roots. After World War II, devastation left millions in poverty, and homelessness was widespread across ruined cities. But within a few decades, Japan experienced its post-war economic miracle. The boom of the 1,950 seconds and 1,960 seconds lifted millions into the middle class, and visible homelessness nearly disappeared. By the 1,980 seconds, Japan stood as a global economic powerhouse, with unemployment hovering around 2%. That stability unraveled in the early 1990 seconds. The collapse of the asset price bubble ushered in the lost decade, a prolonged period of economic stagnation. Unemployment rose to 5.4% by 2002, and homelessness reemerged as a visible crisis. By 1998, Tokyo reported nearly 3,700 people living on the streets, with advocacy groups estimating closer to 5,000. This turning point reflected deeper structural changes, relaxed labor laws, and a growing reliance on temporary and day labor eroded job security. Those who lost work often lost housing too, with little safety net to catch them. It was here that Japan's modern homelessness crisis truly began to take shape. Why does homelessness continue to exist in one of the world's wealthiest nations? The reasons lie in a web of economic, social, and cultural forces. First, housing itself is often out of reach. Renting an apartment in Japan typically requires a hefty deposit, agency fees, and several months of rent up front, sometimes totaling $2,000 to $3,000 in cities like Tokyo. For someone without steady work, those costs are impossible to cover. Second, Japan's labor market has shifted dramatically. Non-regular employment, part-time, temporary, or contract work now makes up about 37% of the workforce, or 21 million people. These jobs pay less, offer fewer benefits, and provide little security. At a median wage of just 1,000 yuan, about $6.50 per hour, compared to 1,500 yuan for full-time employees, many workers remain one paycheck away from the streets. Third, cultural attitudes weigh heavily. Japan places great value on self-reliance and personal honor. For many, especially older men, asking for help is seen as shameful. As a result, they avoid welfare programs or even family support, choosing isolation instead. Combined with strict eligibility requirements and bureaucratic red tape, this cultural barrier keeps countless people locked in cycles of poverty and homelessness. In a nation known for order and prosperity, these hidden struggles reveal how deeply economic insecurity and social stigma can shape human lives. Beyond the blue tarps and parks and cardboard shelters under bridges lies a distinctly Japanese form of homelessness, the hidden homeless. Unlike the older men who make up most of Japan's street population, these individuals are often younger and harder to see. They spend their nights in internet cafes, capsule hotels, manga kissa, or even in their cars, stitching together survival one day at a time. The 2007 documentary Net Café Refugee first drew national attention to this reality, revealing that tens of thousands in cities like Tokyo and Osaka live this way. Many are one-call workers, taking day jobs arranged by phone or app, earning just enough, around 1,500 yuan, about $10, to rent a reclining chair and a blanket for the night. Because they don't sleep rough in public, they're rarely counted in official statistics, yet their existence complicates Japan's reputation for low homelessness. A 2018 Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare study estimated 15,000 people were living in internet cafes. Advocacy groups, however, believe the true figure could be twice that, especially in the aftermath of COVID-19, when unstable work and rising rents push more people into precarious living. Their stories reveal a sobering truth. Homelessness in Japan isn't always visible, but is far more widespread and tied to fragile labor markets than the government's narrow definition suggests. In Japan, Homelessness is more than a social condition. It carries a heavy stigma. Too often, it is seen not as the failure of systems, but as a failure of the individual. This judgment stems from deeply ingrained values like gaman, endurance, and jiritsu, self-reliance, which prize perseverance and independence, sometimes at the cost of asking for help. A 2024 NHK report revealed that many homeless men decline government assistance, determined to solve their problems alone rather than lose face. But even for those who do seek aid, the welfare system is labyrinthine, filled with paperwork and requirements that can be overwhelming. Public policy doesn't always help either. Tokyo's benches with divided armrests and spiked surfaces in parks are designed to keep people from lying down, pushing the unhoused further to society's margins. The stigma extends to everyday attitudes. In a 2022 Asahi Shimbun survey, 45% of respondents said they believed homelessness was a matter of choice. This lack of empathy makes it harder to build the political will for systemic change. Instead of compassion, the homeless often encounter suspicion, reinforcing their isolation in a society that prizes order and conformity. So, what is Japan doing to confront this challenge? In 2002, the government passed the Special Act on supporting the autonomy of the homeless population, designed to ease access to welfare, expand job training, and provide temporary housing. Local governments, especially in Tokyo and Osaka, operate shelters and placement programs, but capacity often falls short. For instance, Tokyo's Taito Ward runs a shelter for just 50 people, far below the real need. Nonprofits have stepped in to fill the gaps. The Big Issue Japan Foundation, launched in 2003, employs unhoused individuals to sell magazines, offering both income and dignity. By 2024, the program supported 1,200 vendors, with 60% transitioning into stable housing within 2 years. In Osaka, the Hibachi program hired homeless residents to maintain public rental bicycles, paying 1,200 yuan per hour across 500 bike stations. Meanwhile, step houses, small, low-rent apartments at about 15,000 yuan, $100 per month, offer a bridge back to stability. These initiatives prove that innovation and compassion can change lives. Yet experts warn they remain too small in scale, unable to address the hidden homeless or the deeper problems of precarious work and housing insecurity. Mental health is a silent but powerful force in Japan's homelessness crisis. A 2014 study in Tokyo found that 12.2% of homeless individuals reported suicidal thoughts within just 2 weeks, with depression the strongest factor. Anxiety and substance abuse, while less common than in Western nations, were also present. Support, however, is scarce. Public clinics often require insurance or fees that the homeless cannot afford, leaving many untreated. The same study linked street homelessness and social isolation directly to suicidal ideation, highlighting how lack of connection compounds suffering. Japan's mental health system remains underfunded, with only 0.9% of GDP devoted to mental health in 2022, less than half the share spent in the UK. Without addressing this dimension, efforts to reduce homelessness remain incomplete. Shelter and jobs may open doors, but untreated trauma and mental illness risk pulling people back into the cycle. Japan's homeless communities display characteristics that are both distinct and deeply human. Many construct semi-permanent shelters from cardboard, tarps, or salvaged wood, often decorating them to reflect a sense of identity and pride. In Shinjuku, artist Junichiro Take famously painted more than 600 cardboard homes, transforming them into vibrant testaments of resilience rather than symbols of despair. Creativity thrives even in hardship. Some homeless individuals write poetry, craft artwork, or collect recyclables, quietly contributing to society. In Osaka's Kamagasaki district, a historic hub for day laborers, tight-knit networks of the unhoused share food, knowledge, and protection. These practices defy stereotypes, reminding us that Japan's homeless are not passive victims, but people striving to preserve dignity, agency, and community in the face of adversity. For travelers in Japan, engaging with homelessness requires empathy and respect. The most important rule: never treat unhoused individuals as spectacles. Photographing or filming without consent strips away dignity. Instead, consider supporting grassroots initiatives. Purchasing the Big Issue Japan magazine for 450 yuan directly helps vendors rebuild their lives. Donations to nonprofits like the Big Issue Japan Foundation or Sanyukai, which provides meals, medical care, and outreach, make a real difference. Travelers can also deepen their understanding through resources such as the 2011 documentary Homeless in Japan, available on Prime Video, which offers nuanced perspectives. By approaching this issue with compassion, respect, and awareness, visitors not only enrich their travel experience, but also practice global citizenship, seeing Japan not just for its neon lights and cultural wonders, but for the resilience of those too often left unseen. Accurately measuring homelessness in Japan remains a persistent challenge. The 2023 government survey reported just 3,065 individuals nationwide, but this figure was based on a single-night visual count in public spaces, such as parks and riversides. This narrow method overlooks people in internet cafes, capsule hotels, temporary shelters, or other hidden locations. Advocacy groups argue that this approach minimizes the scale of the problem, reflecting a desire to preserve Japan's image of social harmony. A 2022 study by the UK's Greater Change Foundation suggested that if hidden homeless populations were included, the rate could rise to 0.015%, still low by global standards, but far more accurate. The discrepancy underscores an urgent need for standardized, inclusive methods of data collection. Without them, policymakers risk underestimating demand and misdirecting resources. When set against other developed nations, Japan's official homelessness rate appears strikingly low. The United States reported 582,000 homeless individuals in 2022, or 0.18% of its population. Canada's rate stands closer to 0.3%. The United Kingdom, with 67 million people, counted 271,000 homeless individuals in 2023, including those in temporary housing. Japan's lower numbers reflect certain structural factors. Strict drug laws and a relatively low immigration rate, just 2.3% of the population is foreign-born, limit some of the pressures seen elsewhere, such as substance abuse or mass displacement. Yet Japan's emphasis on visible homelessness risks masking deeper problems: precarious labor markets, limited social safety nets, and untreated mental health issues. By studying global models, particularly Canada's emphasis on prevention and early intervention, Japan could strengthen its own response and move from managing homelessness to truly reducing it. In Japan, nonprofits and grassroots initiatives form the backbone of support for the unhoused. The Big Issue Japan, now in its third decade, has empowered thousands through its vendor program. Roughly 70% of participants secure stable housing or employment within 3 years, proving that small steps can lead to lasting change. Other programs focus on housing itself. Osaka's Step House offers modest 50 square meter apartments, at just 15,000 yuan a month. Since 2018, it has helped 200 people, with 80% moving on to permanent residences. In Tokyo, Yoyogi Park's artist-run cafes serve food, distribute clothing, and create community spaces where dignity is restored alongside nourishment. And in Kamagasaki, volunteers hand out 1,000 meals each week, sustained entirely by donations. These efforts show the quiet strength of grassroots action. Yet scaling them nationwide will require more than volunteer compassion. It will demand government investment and a shift in public perception. Future outlook: can Japan eliminate homelessness? What will it take for Japan to end homelessness once and for all? Experts warn that current pressures may make the crisis worse before it gets better. Inflation rose 2.8% in 2023, while wages fell 2.5% in real terms. With 37% of the workforce trapped in non-regular employment, economic insecurity remains the rule, not the exception. Add to this Japan's rapidly aging society. 38% of the population will be over 65 by 2050, and the urgency becomes clear. Elderly men already account for 60% of the homeless population, and their numbers could rise. Solutions do exist. Expanding mental health services, reforming labor laws, and building more affordable housing are critical first steps. Innovative ideas, like modular housing units or universal basic income pilots, tested in Fukuoka, offer new pathways forward. But beyond policies, Japan must confront cultural stigmas, simplify welfare access, and acknowledge homelessness not as personal failure, but as a systemic challenge. It's a tall order. Yet if history has shown anything, it's that Japan has the resilience to rebuild from even the harshest setbacks. The question now is whether that same determination can be applied not just to its economy or infrastructure, but to the people who need it most. Conclusion: homelessness in Japan is a layered reality, often hidden beneath the nation's polished exterior. From the blue tents of Yoyogi Park to the quiet corners of Shibuya's internet cafes, it reminds us to look past stereotypes and statistics to the human lives within. In this travel documentary, we've traced the history, examined the cultural stigma, and highlighted both the challenges and the creative solutions shaping Japan's response. What emerges is not just a social issue, but a story of resilience, dignity, and a society wrestling with change. By seeing these truths, we deepen our understanding of Japan, not only as a place of order and innovation, but also of struggle and humanity. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Stay curious, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next travel documentary.